All right, we got a bit of an echo there. I think it's rectified. How is everybody feeling tonight, today, this evening, this afternoon in Stan's case? How are we all doing?
Anxious.
Anxious? Excited? Pre-flight nerves, Stan?
Yeah, you could say that. Very, very nervous.
What do you do when you're nervous for flying, Stan?
I drink. Climb into a bottle of gin.
Heavily, or just enough to get you
Just
through?
to take the edge off.
Yeah, just take the edge off. Or I think that's how we're feeling today.
That's a whole bottle of gin to take my edge off.
Tony, how are you dealing with the season that is upon us?
Peroni.
I was ready for it to start. Still wish we had more incomings than we do. Hopefully the season goes better than I think it will, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, listen, there's reason to be pessimistic, Gary. There's reason to be optimistic. I'm not saying, Gary, you're pessimistic. I'm just saying there's reason to be pessimistic. And there's reasons to be optimistic. We don't know what this team's going to do to us, right, this season.
Yeah, it will be a surprise, as I like to say. We will get a surprise come tomorrow, multiple times before the game and during the game, and of course after. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm anxious to see that get the season started. It will, it's only Arsenal on tomorrow, so everybody in the world will be seeing us. So not sure how good or bad that is.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And listen, Stan, we're top of the league right now. We are top of the league. We're top of the league. The founding fathers decided that it would be an A.
Exactly.
Our name would start with an A. We're always top of the league, start of the season.
Take your screenshots, put them out on Twitter. We are top of the league right now. But for how long? But for how long? Who knows? I mean, I've got to say, and I've probably said it before in previous years, and I'm going to say it again. But I really, I don't. This is the one. I have never felt this nervous going into a season. It's like it's like being on a ship, right? And you're going into uncharted waters. And you don't have a map because no one's ever been there before. It kind of feels like that. I've got no idea, what the future's going to hold, because there's a very good chance that we could, we could go there and we could maybe nick a win, and maybe just scrape through. But is it going to be enough? Because the next few games will be even harder. Do you know what I mean? If we go there and we can get a draw away from home, we'd like to think that we should be able to beat a team that's just come up. But we finished 8th 2 seasons in a row. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not pretend we're something that we're not. Even if we could go there and nick a draw, but at least the fans come away with seeing a good style of play, hard work. If we get a draw or we lose and we see players that are kind of, walking around, Aubameyang's missing sitters, stuff that we've seen before, then that's not going to bode well, because I can understand losing a football match, even though I don't like it. But for me, it's always about the manner of the loss. We lose and everybody's, is working as hard as they can, then you just have to accept that the players that we have aren't good enough, but at least they're all trying.
Yeah, listen, I think, Stan, because we're going to play Chelsea, we're going to play City in the next 2 games after. That puts huge importance on the Brentford game. So every Arsenal fan's already maybe counting 3 points in the bag. And it's a dangerous thing to do. I know that, because we're going to have a team coming up from the championship that's flying. They played 46 games last season, won 24 of those. They won over half of their games and lost only 7, scoring 79 goals and conceding just 42. So I know it's the championship, but, we've seen this historically every season, that the promoted teams come out flying out of the blocks, So it's a dangerous game. So listen, Tony, we're getting ready to take off here. We'll be going through the Brentford game in a little bit more detail. I want to ask maybe the panelists what your wish list for the season could be. What's your biggest hope for the season? You know, we know the downside, but what could be the upside? And listen, let me know what everyone's thinking about in the chat box here. How you're feeling for the season ahead. Tony, how are you feeling for the season tomorrow?
Like I said, just anxious, not sure what's going to happen. Kind of scared where we'll finish. It's kind of just so many unknowns. I don't remember coming into season with as many unknowns as we have. I hope Arteta learns from his mistakes. Is less rigid, keeps a solid lineup instead of 36 different lineups like last season. Just insane amount of lineup changes. We have to have consistency. I want to see us play 90 minutes solid, not one half or 30 minutes like we did last year. Just want to go see us have solid performances. Want to see more of the young players, but you don't know if that's going to happen with Arteta. Hopefully he decides, hey, the young players are good. Older players are holding back. They're not giving their all like Emery saw. That's why he played with young players. But overall, like I said, I'm just nervous, anxious, not sure what's going to happen. It's hard to make any predictions now, especially since the window don't close for another 3 weeks, which I wish it already was closed, but that's a different story.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people in the chats. It's great to see you. We're going at a better hour for you for the UK viewers. Basically, it is my wedding anniversary, and want to get through the podcast and get out into town a little bit later. So that's one of the reasons. But
Congratulations, mate.
thank you. Got a few miles under the belt, Stan. But I'm clocking up those air miles. You know what I mean? I can cash them in now and again for something like podcasts. You know what I mean? So behind every good podcast panelist is a wife and a partner. So yeah, they put up with us doing this stuff. So listen, Gary, as we've alluded to, we're going to face a very difficult task tomorrow. But I'm feeling optimistic. I'm feeling upbeat. I'm feeling like this is a challenge. Don't see it as a negative. See it as a challenge that the team can face head on.
Yeah, well, first, congratulations, Ray, on another year,
Yep.
and
One under the belt.
yes. Hello, everyone in the chats. Yeah, this is as you said, this is going to be another challenge for us. This is the first one, first of 38 challenges we're going to have this season. So I think this one's a big one because it'll start. It could potentially start the ball rolling in the right direction for us.
Mhm.
So there's a lot riding on it. Not that it will end the season, but it will. We kind of need to create some momentum going into each and every game, and previous games will hopefully build for us. As I've always said, and I'll keep saying it. I guess I like to see the team build from game to game, little changes, little improvements from game to game. So this will be a little rusty. Most first games are. So it's gonna be a challenge mentally and physically for the players getting out there and actually running, and it counts. It counts now. So any slip ups, mistakes count now if they go against you. So yeah, this will be another challenge for the team. Another challenge, of many. But looking forward to the start. Fearing the start, just because of the unknowns. Hopefully, we'll see some good. We'll see some good tomorrow night. This time tomorrow, yeah, the game will be over, and we'll know at least how the first game went. I'm not. So we'll see.
Yeah, this time tomorrow the dust will be settling on it, Stan. Hate to say this, we got two teams, 11 against 11. We'll be starting, but we have a guy in the middle who's going to wear black, and he's going to have an impact on the game. Do you think the officials will have some impact on the game tomorrow?
Well, you never know, right? It all depends if they want to stick their nose in and become part of the attraction. You've got VAR to contend with, but more than that as well, there's going to be fans in the stadium. You know, I don't know how many. I'm not sure a stadium's allowed to have the full capacity now, or are there certain restrictions? I have no idea.
You
So,
have to show your COVID vaccinations or
so they,
test negative for it.
I imagine then that there's going to be a full complement of away travelling fans, and you know, people haven't had an opportunity to see football in a long time, and they're paying their money. They've renewed their season tickets. These season tickets aren't cheap, and they want to be entertained, right? They want to get their money's worth. So it's going to be interesting because okay. So you know, Mikel's not going to have the luxury of being able to bark his orders. He'll probably still be trying to do it, but he's going to get drowned out a little bit now. You know, the players are now going to have to really start thinking for themselves out on the pitch.
Yeah, the last time that happened, Stan, was probably it was probably the FA Cup runs, and Arteta really wasn't able to have an impact. And the players that we had then was David Luiz and some leadership on the field. It's a different kind of leadership. We're going to have Ben White, Tierney as well on the field. So it's going to be a different atmosphere, and I think it's something that is going to be. We're all going to be watching to see how the Arsenal contend with the new dynamic, and start out really well. We want to get 3 points in the bag tomorrow. So, what kind of team? Where are you looking? You're looking in midfield. You're looking at strikers. What kind of players you want to see up front, Stan?
Well, I want to see Pierre Aubameyang. I want to see him being played through the middle. I don't want to see him on the left. And even if it's a case of, maybe players are being rested who ain't quite fit yet, like Saka, I still don't want to see Aubameyang starting on the left. I'd rather see somebody else playing out of position and playing on the left, because Aubameyang playing on the left for me is slightly out of position. And the way that he's playing at the moment, we need him closer to goal. I mean, my worry going into the season, my biggest worry is the form of Aubameyang at the moment, because I see him doing two things now in the games. He's either out wide crossing the ball in, and when I see that, I'm like, well, that's back to front. We shouldn't be paying him the amount of money that we're paying him to be crossing balls in. If someone's crossing the balls in, I want him in the middle, even though he might not be as good with his head. Maybe he can do something with his feet, but you want him in the box. But then the other thing that I see is that when he is in the box, he's still managing to get himself into very good shooting positions. And he's just making, as they say in FIFA, he's fluffing his lines every time. I think in the last game that I saw him play, I think it was the last friendly, the ball came in, Tottenham, the ball came in, and he took a kick at it, and he just basically swiped the air and fell over. Sort of thing that I would do, you know what I mean? Because I'm terrible at football. So I'm really worried going into the season, because if he was going through a bad run of form last season, he's had time now to get over that. He's had time to get over the malaria, any family stuff. He's had a holiday. He's had a chance to rest. And then he should be coming back invigorated for pre-season. And I thought in pre-season that he was awful. I mean, where were the goals? You get more time and space in pre-season friendlies. And as I say, he's either crossing the ball in, which to me, I don't want to see that. He shouldn't be out there doing that. And if he is in the middle, he's getting into good positions, but he's just missing everything. And it doesn't look like his body language. He just looks like he's in a real funk, and it worries me. And we can't, we're talking about not being able to sell players like Kolasinac, for example, or Xhaka. Who are we going to sell him to? Who's going to take him? Even if we gave him away, no one's going to match those wages in this current climate. No one. So we have to, I don't know what's going to happen. Somehow the manager has to find a way to bring the best out of him, because I refuse to believe that what we've seen him do in the past, winning golden boots and tying golden boots and playing out on the left as well, which I hated. We know that, I can't believe that he's just fallen away so quickly. Do you know what I mean? There's still got to be, I don't believe that he's just totally, like Samson, got his hair cut and he's lost all his strength, lost everything, lost all his powers. I just can't.
Let me put you on the spot a little bit then, sort of a prediction for Aubameyang this season in the Premier League, Stan. Will he get closer to 20 goals
No.
or closer to 10 goals?
No, I don't think he's going to get. I don't think he's going to get 20 goals. No way.
So somewhere between 10 and 15.
I'd hope.
Yeah.
And for him, that's not a bad return for a forward, but he should be able to do better than that with his position in the game, what he's being paid. It's supposed to be, what we know he can do in the game. That would be below his standard, but I would take it because it's better than what he done this last season gone, right?
Mm-hmm. Bargav said here, I'm hoping Brentford don't blitz us. Their crowd is going to be insane. We need to be on it as usual. Tony, we're talking about Aubameyang, and the difference between Aubameyang and Lacazette may be the way that Brentford allow us to play. In terms of if we have a lot of the ball and we can retain the ball, surely Lacazette is going to be the better player to play up front for us. But if we're going to set up and play on the counter attack, I would think Aubameyang might be the better player to do that. What are your thoughts on that, Tony?
Yeah, I agree with you. For that play counter attacking, it'd be better. Play Aubameyang. I wouldn't play him in the middle like Stan wants. I'd still have him out on the left wing because the team does better with him playing out there.
I've been thinking about this, Tony. Would you play Martinelli or Saka on the left?
I'd play Pepe and let them guys rest. Bring him in the second half if you want to.
Yeah, but Pepe will play on the right, right? Correct.
I'd play him. He plays better on the left. We've seen it.
Pepe, who would you play on the right then? William.
I'd almost start Saka.
Saka on the right. He could do that, right, Gary? Gary, what are you thinking about the lineup? Because Aubameyang, Lacazette, and Pepe really has not worked in preseason.
You give me headaches. You give me headaches with that.
We started off with an optimistic spin. I'm feeling good about it.
Go grab your bottle of aspirin, Gary.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah.
All it takes is talking about the front three, and it sort of gives us headaches, and it fits and starts a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like if this were a properly run team, Saka and Martinelli probably wouldn't even been anywhere near their starting lineup as far as even a thought, right? They need to rest. They are young. They've had a really, for both of them, and pretty much had a really, I would say, a long summer. They didn't really have a break at all. Yes, they've come back as soon as they can, but are we ready for them to hit the road running? Probably not yet. So I would like to. I think they need to rest. I'm hoping that, I think we're going to have to play both Aubameyang and Lacazette. I don't think that's our best attack, having them both out there, but I think we're going to have to do that at least for the first number of games before we get the rest of the team healthy, or not healthy, but game fit, mentally and physically. So I would expect both of them. Mentally, they should be looking at their past season going, you know what, I didn't do good. I need to do better, right? Mentally, they should be coming out ready to go on and make sure that preseason was all about just getting running up and down the field. That's all. Because I didn't see as much technical abilities from them that as far as their finishing goes to say, you know what, hopefully that will just, that their shooting is going to be okay. But I think that's what we're going to need. They're going to need to they need to be driven, right? Last season should be a blip in their heads. It should have been a blip. That's not how I play. Aubameyang has a couple of things that were going against him last season. He got ill. He had family things that were kind of weighing on him. Hopefully this season he doesn't have any of that stuff, and he's just ready to go and get. Yes, he should be thinking 20 goals easy, right? That should be like, you know what? If I'm going to have a good season, I'm scoring 20 goals, and I'm going to have to do what I can. I want him tired by 60, 70 minutes, meaning that he's done a lot of work, and he's put himself in positions to score, right? And then if he needs to come out, so it's the first game of the season, you see that all the time, but he should be ready to go on 90 and give us a good 90, right? He's had the summer off. We saw him working out in Greece. He should be ready to go, right? Lacazette, same thing. Lacazette is he could be in the shop window, right? You know, 1 minute he's getting sold, 1 minute he's staying. So once again, he's kind of motivated. He should be motivated in multiple ways. One, you know, if he can repeat what he did last season, everybody will be happy with that. We'll take that again from him because we know that that doesn't happen too often, that he's going to score double-digit goals, you know, across all competitions. So if he gets anywhere close to that, we should take that as a plus, because I'm expecting Pepe, Milsworth Rowe, and Saka to improve in their offensive attack, you know, in their offensive, you know, stats, right?
Mhm.
Their goals and assists. I'm expecting those to improve if the team's going to get better, right? If the team's going to get better, we should expect to see that. So, yeah, I don't think that's our best lineup, but I think that's what we're going to have to go with to start. But I think these are professionals; they should be ready to go, and we should be able to get something out of this game. Yeah, at least that's my hope.
Stan, I've seen some people say that Aubameyang is basically saving his body for the Premier League, so he's kind of just walked himself through the preseason.
As I say, I've seen him getting into good positions and just fluffing his lines. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's cutting in from the left and taking players on and then trying to curl one in. I've seen him in the box, static in the box. Do you know what I mean? And the ball's come in from someone, and it just totally looks like someone from fucking infant school playing. Do you know what I mean? And that's what really worries me.
Yeah.
So that's what's worrying me. And maybe Mark Green's got a point. You know, he's closing in on 33 years old. He's on the downward spiral where his pace is concerned. So, you know, and if he hasn't got his pace, then, you know, he has lost a lot out of his game. You know, players don't get faster as they get older. You know, he'll have to stop. You know, but you like to think that a player then, if they lose their pace, they start to alter their game. I mean, Teddy Sheringham wasn't the fastest of players. He got himself into right positions. He read the game really well, and that's what you've got to do if you want to start playing the game when you start losing your pace. But as I said, for me personally, you know, if I was in control of things, I would rip up our forward line and start again. I would like to get rid of both Lacazette and Aubameyang, if I could. I mean, it's not going to happen. We're not getting nibbles for hardly any players.
No. I put it to you, Stan, that I think the forward line we're going to see tomorrow will be vastly different toward the end of the season. I would think. I don't think we're going to loan Balogun out. I think the state of the transfer window right now, we're going to have to use Balogun. We're going to have to use Martinelli. So I think by April, May, you're going to see Balogun as a firm fixture in the team. And
we may even have to use Eddie Nketiah if he doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't like what Arteta had to say. Let's maximize what we have, but that's not a good situation. But
I mean, I was going to say one thing to you know, to Stan's question that or the answer that you gave.
Yeah,
Aubameyang's going to have to be. He's probably used to just being instinctive, right? He's going to have to be a little bit smarter and think a little bit more about when and not to exert himself, right? We're talking about he can't make these. He's not going to look up and then just take off and run like he's done in the past, because that's just going to wear him down. And the team's not looking for it anyways, right? So hopefully he's going to have to be a lot smarter in the way that he plays and take advantage when he does get those opportunities to make a run. And he needs to be up top, right? He needs to be up. The ball's coming down wherever the ball is. He needs to be in front of the ball. We can't have these, you know, in these previous situations we've seen him. He's behind the ball. There's no. He's not going to get the ball, right? Right. He's not going to get the ball because he's way behind, and he needs to be a little bit smarter in the way that he plays the game. And you see that with the older players, the really old players that are, you know, the players that are getting old and they're losing something, they try to gain back what they know. And that's got to be the thinking part of the game, the smarts of the game, right? Yeah. So when he does get in those situations where, you know what, I'm going to make this run because they're going to pass it to me, you know what? And then he's got to be clinical, right? Mm-hmm. He knows these chances aren't going to come, and the more they come, and the less times, and every time he misses, that's a goal opportunity gone. That's going to hurt the team, and right now, I still think his head is just not always. I think I was made a joke, or I think on one of the chats I was on. I don't know the Bamiyang that was stuck in traffic before that North London derby. I don't know if he's come back yet. He might be still stuck out there in traffic, and are we gonna get him back? I don't know. I mean, I hope so, but that's what we're missing, right? We need that guy to come back, right?
It's just worrying to me that everywhere else you see him, whether he's sat in a barber's chair, whether sat, posing with one of his cars, whether he's away on international duty, he looks really happy. He doesn't look like, when someone's depressed and they're going through a bad patch, they're constantly got a face like a slack ass. They're walking around with their head down. They probably shut themselves off a little bit from social media. He doesn't seem to be going through that. Yet when he comes out on the pitch, his body language seems to change, and he looks like, he should be going to counselling for something, and he's got the weight of the world upon him. And I'm thinking to myself, well, all these other things that you're doing off the pitch, you're able to do these things because of the salary that you earn that's able to support your lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand why it's such a burden for him to kick a fucking football for Arsenal when he's being paid well above the market rate for the team of where we are at the moment. And you've got to say that at the minute, looking at the past 2 seasons, we're a mid-table team that's out of Europe. And we're paying this guy the kind of money that you pay strikers that are playing in the Champions League. So I don't get it. Is he not able to fake it for 90 minutes and just smile? You ever been to a job interview and you just like that fake smile, right? You just like that.
we would all sacrifice. Yeah, we would all sacrifice major things to be able to have that opportunity to play for Arsenal.
Yeah.
And Stan, you make some good points about Teddy Sheringham. You get older, you get more clever. I remember Paul McGrath as a defender. Positionally, he was great toward the end of his career as well because he didn't have that pace. Gary, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think the chest, the crust on that chest is weighing him down.
Yeah.
I think it's an anvil. You've seen those cartoons where you got the anvil and it just drops. Mm-hmm. I think it's weighing him down.
Yeah.
And what they say is he's just not enjoying his football right now, especially when he puts on that red shirt, right? And he runs out with his Arsenal mates when he runs out with a team that actually pays him to allow him to drive these cars that he's late for matches from, like getting a barber chair, all of that's coming from what he does when he puts on the red. He puts on that shirt with the crest on it, So, like you said, can you give us 90 minutes, right? Give me 90 minutes. And that's what I think that's one of the problems also, right, is he's got a manager who doesn't see that picture, doesn't see the big picture. You know what? Yes, he'll put his hand around. I think he'll put his hand around Xhaka's shoulder. He needs to put it on Aubameyang right now. Yeah. That's his man, right? That's his meal ticket right now. If he wants everything else that's going on in Arsenal, if Aubameyang comes in and he's clicking and he's shooting and he's pinging balls at the goalkeeper, he gets a good check. It's a good star, gold star for that, right? Because that's what we want. Why is that gone? He needs to figure out how to get that going because that's going to be one of the positives, at least to start, if we can see something like that. Otherwise, he's going to be in trouble because it's just another. Then we go back to, the $72 million player, or in this case, the $350K weekly player, right? That's what's going to be every time, every game. What are we going to get for $350 today?
Yeah.
Right.
We've got a few questions in the chat, so we'll catch up on yours, Gunnar Glenn, as well. Tony, Bargov's asked, what would be a good Aubameyang season goal-wise? Let's just say in the Premier League.
Anything over 15?
Anything over 15, I think that's about right. I think, Stan, where do you kind of think that's the mark he should be at? Right?
I think I'd agree with Tony. I mean, we should be getting somewhere between 20 to 25. That's what we should be getting. But I agree with Tony. If we can get above 15, that's an improvement, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gary?
Yeah. I mean, that's 5 more than he gave us in the last Premier League season, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Yes, he's got to hit double figures, and like I said, I think others will support him if he does, because he's gonna have a lot of help, I hope.
Bargov said Pepe and Aubameyang are pretty much at the make or break point. I think definitely Aubameyang is at that make or break point. Pepe, it's tantalizing with Pepe. He gets toward the end of the season, and you see him.
Pepe just needs to play.
really produce for us. Yeah, I think Gunnar Glenn said that as well. Gary, what if we sign Tammy Abrams? He will be a starter. I agree with that. He will be a starter. If we do sign Tammy Abrams, that probably means that we're going to be loaning out one of our players. Gary?
No, definitely. Yeah, I mean that's. I mean it's a Balogun, right? It's not Martinelli,
Again,
right? Right. So that's Balogun gone.
or even
I'm
Eddie. If we can't shift it, we can't get cash for Eddie.
no, I don't think I. Once again, it's going to be the same situation. Who's out there looking for an Eddie Nketiah right now? Right. We can't even sell the captain of the Swiss team. Right. How are we going to sell Eddie Nketiah? He's been, he's as far as he's been struggling,
A
for us.
good young English player.
They look good in the preseason. Right?
He gives us
Gary. So I just counter that, Gary, by saying we'll never know if we'll be able to sell our Swiss captain because we've already given him an extended contract before, while the window was still open. There is still time, right? But we decided, no. Let's do it now. He's got 2 years left. We could have waited until the window had shut. No, we'll do it now.
It's like you go to a car boot sale and you open up your boot for 10 minutes and you look at your watch. All right, I'm off, even though there's 2 more hours of the car boot sale to go. We're going to keep what we have in the trunk, right, Gary?
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, this is no different than how we started last season. We got 2 quality goalkeepers. We don't know which one to keep, so we let one go. Think too soon.
My miss is the same, right? Because we've been moving we've moved quite a couple of times in the last year or so. Every time we're moving, we're trying to throw shit away, and I'm throwing stuff out. She's behind me putting it back in.
I'm the pack rat in my house. If my wife had her way, everything would be gone.
Yeah, I'm the one that's grabbing stuff to take it back in. That's me.
She hides it. She hides it from me. She'll put it in the basement. I believe that's how it works. You put it in the basement, and nobody even misses it. Guess what? It's gone. All right, that's the trick. You put it, you hide it. It's out of sight, out of mind, and then they don't ever say anything about it, and it's gone. And next thing you know, what happened to? I don't know.
When I lived in a slight segue, but when I lived in Amsterdam, they've got a culture there where they'll throw their stuff that they don't want, just put it out in the street. It might be an office chair. It might be a coffee table. It could be a lamp. The amount of coffee tables I ended up with in fucking Amsterdam because of my missus. Every time she'd come in, I'm like, we can't have all these coffee tables just because they're there, just because they're available. Do you know what I mean?
They're free off the street, right? I mean, they do the same thing over here in the States as well. Mark Green said, I don't know if Aubameyang is one of Arteta's favorites. It's debatable, in my opinion. He knows he's captain. He's one of Arteta's favorites, so he knows chances are he won't be dropped. And I have a little bet with
shoehorning him last season.
Tony, I have a little bet with you tomorrow. That I told you the captain is undroppable for the first 3 games.
Yeah, I still don't think he starts as striker.
Yeah,
I do too.
I mean, I was listening to his show, and it's one of those things where if Aubameyang's not going to start against Brentford, he doesn't start the whole season, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, if you can't start him against Brentford, when do you start him? You can't start him against Chelsea at home, City on the road. I mean, he's got to play. If not, you know what were you doing this whole summer, keeping him in practice and not trying to get rid of him? It just doesn't make any monetarily, and if you're trying to get rid of him, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, he's going to start. Where they put him, that where they can limit the pain that the team's going to go through is probably the best thing. And, up top would be perfect, but up top, if he stays up top, right, he's not going to come back like Lacazette does and support the midfield, right? He's not going to do that. So
he definitely, he started out playing on the wing. He's been playing for a number of years on the wing, and like you said, Gary, he's been running a lot. There's a lot of miles in his legs now, and he needs to play through the center. Gunnar Glenn said, hope so, Tony Turner, but his agent said he is staying at Inter. This is about Lautaro Martinez. As he loves it there, but didn't Lukaku say the same thing 2 weeks ago? Yeah, take everything that's said, especially in the month of August, with a heavy pinch of salt. Oba needs to come out of the M25 traffic as soon as possible. Definitely ready. And
what if he's late? What if he's late tomorrow? It is a Friday. Does he know the traffic patterns in London?
London, and it's
Or
today.
right?
They might think for games Saturday or Sunday. Gary.
Do we? I'm going to put my neck on the block like I usually do and say something outrageous. I think Aubameyang's going to score tomorrow. Gary?
I hope
Will
so.
he score tomorrow?
I want to see that. That would mean that whatever they were doing in the off season and the preseason worked, because that's what Arteta said, right? He said last season he didn't get a preseason to work with his players, and that's why he didn't get to see what he wanted out of his players. He's got that preseason now. They played 6 matches.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Really, 4, really 2 behind.
They played 6 games, right? They played 6 times. It wasn't official preseason matches, but they played 6 times. So hopefully they were able to build on that and get ready to go. I mean, I didn't see anything in the preseason that leads me to believe that we're gonna see something totally different, right? I know supposedly you're not supposed to look at it that way, but I have no doubt that you're supposed to build from game 1 to game 6 in the preseason and see something that you can actually pick your starting 11 from, all right? And then go, you know what, this guy's coming in ready to play, or this guy's a little, he needs a little bit more time to get his cardio up, whatever the case may be, because it starts tomorrow.
It's strange when modern footballers stand back in the day. They'd be out on the beer all summer. They'd come back and sweat it off of them for training camp for 2 months.
They used to wear like bin bags taped around them under their big jogging kits so they could sweat it out. I mean, I think them days are gone. Obviously, Willian never got that memo, but everyone else,
He got impregnated, Stan.
No, that was his money bag. He just keeps it. That's not what you think it was. It was payday, and he wasn't gonna let anybody touch it. And that's just the way he keeps his money. Keeps it close to his chest.
You go into the bank vault, you fill it all up, and then you put an overcoat over, and you walk out. Sweet.
I was listening to something on the radio the other day, and do you remember Winston Bogarde when he was at Chelsea? You remember this, right? And do you remember he was like one of the first players that, at the time he was getting something like 40 grand a week, and at that time 40 grand a week was a lot, and he was like a central defender, and there was a problem with them wanting to get rid of him, but him not wanting to go to any of the clubs that were coming in for him, and he ended up staying out the rest of his contract, if you remember, and never playing for them, so much that he actually went back to live in the Netherlands. But once a week, I was listening to this radio show, they said that he would fly into London to pick up his money. And I was like thinking, what, they never had bank transfers back then? He'd literally have to fly in every week with a big briefcase. Do you know what I mean? A couple of big lads around him, probably with like a handcuff around the fucking briefcase, pick it up and then fly back to Amsterdam. I mean, I don't know. Weird. Sorry, it just reminded me of that.
Stan, tomorrow, do you think Aubameyang scores tomorrow?
It's possible, though, right? That's the thing. He's a striker. I definitely think he's going to start out on the left. And when you see that starting lineup, he's definitely going to try. He's definitely going to get out his magic shoehorn, and he wants to get Lacazette and Aubameyang in that starting lineup. But will he score tomorrow? 50-50, isn't it? It's like. It really is. If this was a bet, you'd have it at evens.
Yeah. And, those aren't bad odds either. Mr. Bungle, question for you, Stan. If we don't win our opening game, do you want our Arteta gone? I can answer that first if you want, or you want to go first.
I'll just say, for me, as I said it a little bit earlier, it's all about the manner of the loss. Do you know what I mean? It's all about the manner of the loss. If it's a lot of what I saw last season and there's steam coming out of my ears, then I'll be probably trying to push that Arteta out button. But if we lose and everybody was, really tried, and you can be forgiving, right? Yeah.
There's different ways to draw or lose a game for sure. Same question to Tony. Will Aubameyang score tomorrow? And what's going to happen? What do you want to do if Arteta loses tomorrow, or if we don't win?
He usually scores against the bottom half clubs. He doesn't score against the top clubs. So he should score tomorrow, whether if he will or not. I didn't see anything from preseason to make me think he's going to score tomorrow. But more than likely, he'll probably surprise us and get a brace. So
I think he scores, as I said already. And Mr. Bungle, I'm giving Arteta 10 games till the end of October, come what may, unless, and I don't see us losing 5 games in 10. If we lose something like 5 games in our first 10 games, then he's got to go. Of course, Gary, we don't win our opening game. Do you want Arteta gone?
Gone after one game, no. But I mean, like you said, we're going to give him some games. But as Stan said, the manner of the losses will be telling because he got, as far as we're concerned, most of those players were there for the start of preseason. So whatever he's implemented should be, those players should know what it is, whatever it is. I mean, to me, it's telling that in the last match against the Spurs that, to me anyways, I don't know what you guys saw, but Zombie and White actually looked kind of good for players that are just getting acclimated to the team concept at Arsenal, right? They look pretty good. And so time will tell whether or not that will disappear, right? Whether fixing it, or Arteta fixing it actually works. But yeah, he needs to come out. This should be an important match for him, so he needs to come out, figure out a way how to win. Is this
Arteta is not to blame. He did not employ himself, so this is.
What was she supposed to say? No, I don't want the job. No, I don't want that £1 million. No, thank you. I want to continue putting cones out for Pep. Thank you.
No, but I mean, but at some point you're gonna have to do the job, right? Right. So that's the part, right? So yes, he didn't ask for the job that was offered to him, right? But at some point I think he wants to be successful and not have to go through these interviews after every match, right? And so he needs to figure out a way to get those, whatever questions he has in his head answered by either the team, by his management. I mean, once again, this is the same thing we say every time. He's one of multiple, issues with this team, right? Do they have the players they need? No. Are the assistants helping out? I don't know. We're more right now. We're concerned with the goalkeeping coach, right? All right. we're concerned with the set piece coach, all right? The one thing that's been pretty consistent is that the defense has been good. So whatever they're doing there, hopefully that doesn't change, right? Because everything else seems to be suspect.
We probably lose now 6-0 tomorrow. You know what I mean? 2 goals.
So we lose 6-0.
If I can control the game, like that, then I'm betting. I bet that's a big bet, right? 6-0 against.
If we lose badly,
2 goals by Ben White.
If we lose badly, I'm holding steady till the end of October. Unless we lose badly, yes. Unless we lose badly for 5 games, If we lose badly tomorrow, does that change your mind, Stan? And Tony, I'm going to go to you in a second. Don't worry.
Because I did say end of October, right? Originally, I was going to October, as you know.
Yeah, well, I remember because I feel the same way.
It's hard, right? Because if you get your arsehole ripped for you tomorrow, you look at your next game and then you think, shit, how do we come back? Your next fixture, you look at it on paper, is even more difficult than this one.
Then we're in the bottom.
It's not like the next game is going to be like Norwich. And you think, okay, maybe we can, try and sort of like get a bit of confidence back. So tomorrow is so important for that reason, I think.
Yeah, Riddy's kind of right here. It's easy to say Arteta should be gone if things go bad. But who'll replace him? Another novice manager. Tony, got to get back to you. You had a point to make 5 minutes ago.
Well, you never let me answer my question on I'd fire Arteta after the game or not.
Don't blame me if I cut you off.
Well, you cut me off all the time.
They came back to you.
Raise one of the drivers that flips you off.
Whatever problem you have, can we do it after the show?
Yeah.
Ray's will be doing something after the show that's different.
Oi, oi, oi. All right. What was your point? You see, you're cutting yourself off now, Tony.
I got interrupted by all 3 of you. But I wouldn't sack him after once. Like I said, to me, I give him.
He's like that old lady at the supermarket.
Oh, what did he just drop off? Oh.
You get in front of the old lady and you hear about it, Stan. You young pup, you cut in front of me.
Fucking gremlins. But I give him until the 7th week. That's the international break. If we're still struggling by then, he has to be gone.
I would be happy with 5 points from the first 3 games, like Iconoclast won, definitely.
You said 5 points from the first 3 games.
Iconoclast asked, would you be happy with 5 points out of 9?
Would I be happy with 5 points out
You
of
wouldn't
9?
hate it. That's
No,
2 goals.
no. We're definitely happy with that, right? It's just, it's just real. That would be.
I didn't take 4.
Well, I'm more likely on the
correct.
4. I'm like 4 is. I think 4 is more achievable than the 5. Just because I feel like we're playing back to back games.
We're top of the league, Gary. We want to maintain our lead at the top. We want to be that surprise team. There's always a surprise team. Okay, tomorrow, visualize this, Dan. It's a lovely summer's day at Brentford Stadium. The teams come out, and Brentford are hungry. They jump on top of us. We can't hold on to the ball. It's not an unlikely story, right?
I don't know much about Brentford, but I do. I'm really looking forward to seeing him because I've been hearing everybody talking about their forward, Ivan Toney, who I've not seen play. But I've, all during the summer, I've seen people suggesting that he should be someone that we should be looking at. And as I say, I've not watched Championship football because obviously being over in Vancouver, sometimes it's the times and shit, right? So I'm really interested in seeing this Brentford and seeing this Ivan Toney guy and seeing what he's like.
So anything less, obviously, right? He shouldn't have a job. 3 points from 9 would be bad. 3 points from 9 would be bad. Yeah, Ivan Toney. I don't know a whole lot about him, but the size and range of him, Gary, I would liken him maybe to a Tammy Abraham. Do you think that's fair? The build.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably a lot lighter. I think he's a lot lighter than Tammy is as far as build. I mean, but he did play in the championship, so he's got some wear and tear on him. And he's got he's played probably some really tough games, right? They always say the championship games are a lot tougher, so maybe he can hold up, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, you've got Tony and you've got Raya, 2 players that I think Arsenal was looking,
What was the other one you said?
A goalkeeper, Raya.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so those were 2 players from the team that people are talking about as far as maybe they should pick those, look at those players. I think even before the previous season, maybe to pick him up, right? Because, we needed at least a backup, if not if we were going to let Martinez go, then we need to bring somebody else in. So he was discussed there. So that for me, that's one of those. Is the script written where Tony and Raya outshine our goalkeeper and our striker, right? Because that's typically how it's gone for Arsenal. Is that the script sometimes goes against us, but it's time for us to change it. And that's what I want to see. So.
Yeah, Gunnar Glenn said Tony is good. I watched this Tony down here. He's just as good as well. He's our striker here. I watched him last season. Club's all-time top scorer. He's dangerous. Tony's every bit as dangerous as well in different ways. I watched Tony loads when he played for Peterborough. He is a class striker. Okay, listen. I'm going to throw out we're going to go through the team. What I'm going to do is give you the back 5 and want to know if any of you object to my picks. Bern Leno in goal, Kieran Tierney, left back, Pablo Murray and White as the central defenders, and Chambers as the right back. Does anyone disagree with any of that?
No.
Nope.
That's what I would go with.
Fears are you see Hector Bellerin on the team sheet.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I mean, he'll be in the proverbial shop window, so we can sell him before the window's out, right? So that might be the easiest game to get him in is that one. So that's the fear for me.
That'd be horrible going from third string to starter.
Yeah, the ultimate fear is he played against Tottenham to be playing in this game, and
and if you go by form, it should be easy, right? He doesn't play.
Play him in the cup game. We're gonna have West Bromwich Albion in the Carabao Cup. Okay,
drop him off at Milan on some runway. He'll be happy.
Yeah, definitely. Midfield, Emil Smith Rowe is your number 10, Lakonga and Granit Xhaka.
No,
How do you differ?
I would start with El Neni next to Xhaka, and I'll tell you why. We're going into the first game of the season. It's away from home as well. And I just think that somebody like El Neni, you're going to want him at some point in the season, just because of how short we are. And as much as a lot of people say, oh, we should be selling them, I think he's a good utility player. He might not be the best that we've got, but he does always give his best for us. And I just think that by bringing in a Lokonga and then putting El Neni on the bench and starting Lokonga, I just think it doesn't do much for El Neni, who you might need to draw from later in the season. It's almost like saying whoever walks through that door and can play in midfield will get in the head of Mohamed El Neni. They could even have one leg. Sorry, Tony, but you know what I'm saying. It kind of feels like that. Do you know what I mean? Oh, he can walk upright and breathe oxygen. Then I'm starting him ahead of El Neni.
Hey, I got 3 legs right now, man.
Tomorrow is a one-legged game. It's not a two-legged game.
Yeah, Stan, I'll turn it around on you and then say, like, if this was think about it, this was Gabriel and Luis last season, all right?
We had to play Gabriel because there was no one else. But I just think that you could start the game with El Neni. You have Lokonga on the bench, let him watch from the bench. El Neni feels a little bit good, and then you make a change in maybe 55, 60 minutes. But I just think that starting with Lokonga, if you look at the bigger picture, you've got to take care of everybody. And at some point, we're going to draw from the well that is El Neni because of injuries or rotation.
Yeah.
Let's keep him in a good place. First game of the season.
Well, I don't think we're going to upset him if he doesn't play.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing too.
I know, but it's the first game of the season. It's away from home. Do we really want to throw Lokonga straight into that in any way? Do you know what I mean? It's not fair on him.
I set the table that Brentford are going to come out steaming, flying out of the blocks at us. And yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Do we want Lokonga in the firing line? He gets a heavy tackle, maybe gets injured, picks up a yellow card because he's trying to match the intensity. I just feel, Stan, that Xhaka and El Neni might be too negative, especially if we're playing Aubameyang up front. We want to feed him.
We haven't got anyone else, though. That's the thing. We haven't got anyone else. And you could think that by maybe 3 or 4 games in, by that time, maybe Lokonga has been coming off the bench and we see, okay, we can start him. I just feel a little bit worrisome of throwing him straight away in, away from home, crowds in the stadium. What if he puts a foot wrong?
He's going to go up.
What if he makes a little fuck up and everybody gets on his back as well? Let's not. I don't think we need to rush this one. You know, El Neni's not fucking incompetent. He's not what everybody wants. I get that, but we could at least start with him and let the team bed in.
Okay, the flip side then, Stan, is it seems cautious and you don't get the results because you didn't push the boat out with Lokonga. You see where I'm coming from?
I just think that
you can get punished. Sorry, you can get punished for it, and then by the time you do put in a zombie, the game might be over by then. You know what I mean?
If I was like a Roman emperor and you two generals came to me with those 2 plans, they're both equally good. Like what I was saying and what you were saying, I would still weighing it up though. I still would go with what I said about Omeneni. I just think for the bigger picture, for me, I think it's just bodes better for all concerned.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Well, let us know what everyone thinks in the chat. Would you risk? It probably is risk Lokonga, a player who's 21 years old. He looks to have a good head and shoulder, a captain of Anderlecht, which...
Gabriel's worked last season. I'd go with Sambi. I'd go with Sambi and El Neni and Smith Rowe.
21 years old to be a captain at a club, even if it is in the Belgian league. I just like the profile of the player. Even if he doesn't play tomorrow, it's experience. Stan is right. We're going to see an intensity. It's a championship team that's coming up into the Premier League, and they're going to come out hell for leather. And you bet your bottom dollar, Gary, that those players right now are going to sleep thinking, I'll have a bit of Arsenal tomorrow. I'll have a bit of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, to some, in some respects, I can see Stan's point. which manager is taught? What was the manager saying in the case where I'm going to bring in Xhaka and El Neni? How is he posing that to the players in the team? All right, because that's the thing that for me always if he puts them in and he asks them to do things that Lukonga can do, then they're going to look out of place, right? But if he puts them in and puts them to their strengths, which right now are not as attacking as we're going to need from them, as far as moving the ball forward, what's going to happen is they're going to put a lot of pressure on us defensively, right? Because that's what we typically see. And that's why we kind of want to put Lukonga or Sambi in, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a risk either way. And one, like you said, one is long term in a sense that if Sambi has a really bad game, that might stain him and taint his at least at the beginning of his career going forward. I mean, like I said, I look at this sometimes as the way that the way that we started the last season. The one thing, the way we started the last season, right? So if Xhaka is the leader that Arteta wants, then playing with Sambi wouldn't be a bad thing, right? He would be able to bring him along and actually help him out. So that's kind of what you want as well. And then you don't need to say much to him. He can do it all. He knows he's been around the block for a while. But it'd be nice to be able to bring him in, yes. But I could go either way with that one.
Sure, you can look both ways, and it could be a substitute as well, Gary. Lukonga for El Neni, or the other way around, El Neni for Lukonga.
And the way that you sell it to the dressing room, you just say we go up there with El Neni and Xhaka, we'll bed in, and then come in the second half. If they're going to come at us hell for leather, they're not going to be able to keep it up for the full 90 minutes. Once they start to tire, then we can bring on the young legs of Lukonga and let them get in and about them.
That's a great point. That's a great point, Stan. We are going to have to be watertight. We're going to have to be tight in defense for the first 25. I always say going away from home, first 20, 25 minutes, you got to stay rock solid. You know what I mean? Yeah. Lukonga's mobility, really said, might give us an edge later in the game. So, definitely a good shout. Okay, forwards, we might have some disagreements here. We can all agree Pepe will get into the lineup, but it'll be left or right. Correct?
Yep.
It should be.
Lacazette should play somewhere, right? Okay. Yep. So then that leaves the last member. Who's going to go with Aubameyang in their team? I would throw Saka in there. I would throw Bukayo in there. Give him the first 30 minutes. I know it's a risk.
I would give him the.
You got Pepe.
I would put him.
We got Lacazette. Who's your last?
Well, like I said, I'm gonna. What I think's gonna happen, right, is Aubameyang and Lacazette are gonna play, so you don't have to worry about. Saka can come on later if you need to. You come in the second half if you want to. So that's what I see happening there. It's Saka. The Saka, if he doesn't start this match, is he going to be playing? He's going to be a starter in the next two matches. Is he a starter for any of the first three matches? If you're thinking ahead to what you have going as a manager, are you actually going to put Saka in his first match, home against Chelsea or away against City? If you're not, then he sits and then he just comes in off the bench, and then you've got your lineup, and you're going to have to work, do whatever you need to get through those first three games, right?
I'm just fearful that we have Aubameyang, Lacazette, and Pepe, and it looks lackluster up front.
Or else we're back where we were before, right? Where every week we get a new lineup, and we're like, all right, so which starting four up top are we going to get this time? Will it work? They haven't played with each other. Now they're going to have to be, kind of in tune with each other going into this match. And that's kind of been the problem, all right? When Saka comes in, he shouldn't have to come out again, right? So is that the first three games, or is that the sixth game of this season, right?
You're probably going to come in as a substitute, Gary.
Yeah. You want him to come in and then he's in for good, all right? You don't want him to come in and have to pull him out again because he's not ready physically. So,
Tony, where do you stand on that, Tony?
Like I said earlier, I'd play Saka, Pepe, Lacazette. I think that's the best.
Mm-hmm.
Three. We seen it work last season.
You're dropping the captain.
We've seen Pepe works better on the left. Lacazette interacts with the players better, holds the ball up better. Just that's what I would go with, but for some reason I think Arteta's a go with Aubameyang down the middle.
Stan, what's the key to winning this game? Match their intensity for the first 20, 25 minutes till the game becomes normal in the sense that they run out of gas a little bit. Then we're able to impose ourselves a little bit more in the game.
Can we press high as a team?
Where's your crystal ball?
You know, can we press high as a team? Try to make mistakes further up in their own half. But that's the thing. If you're going to do that, everyone's got to do it. And sometimes we do it a little bit half-heartedly. Some are doing it, some ain't.
Yeah.
And, do you know what I mean? And then it makes it look like those that are doing it just running around a bit like headless chickens.
Yeah,
We've seen that so many times, right? Martinelli comes on the pitch and he's flying all over it, and everybody else is kind of just looking at him. You're like, you're like, what is he doing? Are we supposed to do that?
I remember Alexis Sanchez getting so frustrated because he used to try to get Ozil. And,
or maybe it's like Martinelli. You know, like when you see like the Flash in the movies. Maybe Martinelli's running so fast it makes the other players look like they're standing still. They're not really. But he's moving so fast, it makes it look like they're frozen. Sorry, mate.
No. Okay, so listen, we have the first 11 all picked out. Our substitutes probably could be either El Neni or Lokonga in midfield. Maybe a Saka or Martinelli to come on for Aubameyang. Do you see any other substitutes? You got 3. Tough question. I get it.
Willian.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
You just.
He'd be on the bench, right? You know what? He wouldn't surprise me if he started either.
What surprised me? You see him starting in the 10.
What are you guys doing to me? Please,
Stan.
That leads up perfectly. Surprised me at all.
That leads up perfectly to my next question, my next kind of segment as we finish the preview of the Brentford game. What is your wish list for the season, Stan? What's your biggest hope that you see something that you're positive? What do you want to see that's positive?
I want to see the continued, what I feel is emergence of Nicola Pepe. Because I was very critical during his first season, and he managed to improve upon that, and I'm really pleased about that, and I'd like to see that continue. Which means, and you and I have always said, Ray, that if he can get a run of games instead of being stop-started all of the time, he'll play better. And we saw that when he is given a run of games, he starts to have more of an influence and can make more of an impact on the game. So I would like to see that continue. And I also hope that, you know, Benny White, our expensive centre-back, is going to be the fucking, you know, the second coming of Paolo Maldini. You know, I really hope that, you know, we was 3rd best defence last season. So I would have to say that if you're 3rd defence and you go out and spend 50 million, I know it doesn't always work like that, but shouldn't we then be vying to, if that's a record, if that's a stat, should we not be aiming to then move from 3rd to maybe 2nd?
Well, you could say that. You could say that if you kept your same defense and you just enhanced it, and we didn't do that. We didn't do that.
We enhanced it, and we spent another 50 million on there, and we've spent money on another backup left back because they've all got to play. It's never going to just be the same back 4. So we have spent like almost 60 million on our defence. Really?
Do
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Nuno, yes, but I think those center backs, right? The 4 center backs that we had last season and the 4 we got this season, I don't think we improved. We didn't improve that group like we did our left back, right? Our left back position now, I think, is solid, right? We got our number 1, we got our number 2.
Well,
and our center backs, we got Holding, all right? I don't think that has improved that group, and I think the little bit of leadership that you wanted to get from the center back position is gone as well, So when you bring in,
couldn't you see Ben White as an upgrade on David Luiz in other aspects?
Yes, but
before that, when we had, for example, when Turney's injured, we had to play games with a deep lying midfielder in Xhaka playing at left back. So I just think that we've actually improved. We've lost David Luiz, but what we've done is we haven't left that hole. We've gone out and kind of upgraded on that with someone who's got better legs, maybe. And we've also brought someone in who supposedly can actually cover Kieran Tierney should he be out or need to be rested. So I'd like to think that if you're going to spend almost another 60 million on the back line, that if we were third best defensive, that we should see an improvement. If we end the next season and we're fourth or fifth, then questions should be asked.
Yeah, listen, I tend to agree with what you're saying, Stan. We have upgraded in the left back position in terms of, and hi Scott for joining us from the Red Cannon here. We have upgraded the left back, so if Tierney gets injured for 10 games, we've got adequate cover. We don't have to drop Granit Xhaka.
We've got Kolasinac as well.
No, maybe, but still, your right back situation is no different than it was last season, and your
Chambers is more prevalent now.
No, I mean in a sense, if we're talking about the squad, so we're talking about the starters and we're talking about the backups, right? That's what you're just talking about.
Well, I think we're talking about overall in terms of goals conceded, 39 goals against.
Well, no, but we're bringing in, if you're going to bring in Nuno, then you're talking about your backup as well, right? Mm-hmm. So Holding is still there as your backup center back, so that's hasn't been improved, right? Right? Mm-hmm. You got Chambers starting. Cedric seems to be in the doghouse, or it's Bellerin. So I don't know. Are we going to get anything better from them? I don't know. But that's for me. Those would be the questions, right? We definitely fixed the left side. We've got a young and up and coming center back in White. I like it. We've lost a little bit of leadership. Yeah, maybe Marie can stand up and maybe take that on the back line. Or White maybe. Somebody needs to do it, right? So I mean, I liked what I saw from White. Like I said in that last match. Did things that a lot of our center backs haven't done. All right, basically, he ran. He ran, and he was able to put himself in between man and ball in front of Son and get keep him off the ball. Right. I don't think I've seen that. When's the last time you've seen that? You also, like you said, he ran. He was able to run a long pass and take the ball and then pass it back to Leno. So. Yes, those are the things you get from White as far as the youngster. But like I said, I think there's also, we're going to talk about Lacazette. There's also that leadership part that you lost there. So I think that was lost. I'm hoping somebody picks up the mantle, right? Mm-hmm. Picks up the baton and takes it, right?
Gabriel and White.
I think what you see with Ben White is like a good referee. He goes kind of unnoticed because he's doing his job correctly.
I don't like that. I don't like that. No.
You don't like that analogy?
No, I don't. I don't.
A referee that's doing his job? I like that every day of the week.
No, but you're saying he's not. Like when Ben White is at what I saw in the last match, that's what I want to see, which means the ball's coming through. He comes in, he cleans up the mess, right?
He's not making mistakes, though, right?
Right. Huh?
He's not making mistakes. And as a defender, those are the things you get highlighted against, Yeah. So, for me, we've covered up the left back position with some cover, and the big question then is David Luiz versus Ben White, and we're not going to know that till we see a little bit more of Ben White. But David Luiz was the leader in the dressing room, castigated a lot for a lot of mistakes he did make, some of them last season, but I think he cleaned his act up a lot in the last year. David Luiz did, so But I do think we've upgraded overall with Ben White. Tony?
To me, I think you'll see Gabriel take off once he gets back from his injury. Him and White should be a hell of a duo. Gabriel, like I said, was shouted out for player of the match first 7-8 games, and then he gets COVID. Then Arteta played him sparingly for a while. He kind of dipped off in form. I think he'll start off hot again, finish strong. I think it would be a good duo. Like you said, we've strengthened left back. I think Chambers is good enough on right back. I don't think we need to go out and buy a right back.
Yeah, I think to your point, to your question, Stan, I think we definitely have improved at the back. Now, Does that mean we're going to concede less goals? Not necessarily so, but I think we've stabilized to the point of I wanted less than I predicted. One of the few predictions I got right last season was us conceding less than 40 goals, and we did that. Um, it's just leading to maybe stale football going forward because we're not creating enough going forward. Gunnar Glenn said Arteta just keeps changing the forward line. I wonder if he does the same with his kids around their dinner table. Um,
I was gonna say a scenario for that. He's like, we're gonna do dessert first, and then he gets to the house. The ice cream is sitting on the table. Oh no, let's go with the main course now.
No, it's got to be structured. It must be structured to your meal, Gary. And Eddie and William and Bellerin, I will be in the hospital at the start of the game with coronary issues. Gunnar Glenn, we call this the sons of Arteta. El Neni, William, Bellerin, Granit Xhaka. You can have no more than two. We found you can have no more than two in a team of 11 men. You know, it's trouble if you have three of them in the team. It's trouble. Stan, you were talking about Pepe, and I wanted just to ask you a question because what you were saying about Pepe reminded me to ask you a question. Do you think Pepe is getting close to the value that we bought him at? Has he reclaimed some of his value?
He definitely reclaimed some of his value. I'm not going to turn around and say that I think he's a £72 million footballer.
No,
but he's
Well,
definitely
he's valued at 35 million.
Some of it.
I mean, just even taking the price away, I just think that. And initially, I was quite disappointed with the way that he played, but he has improved. And someone asked a question the other day, and they were asking it a bit sarcastically, saying like, well, who's improved under Mikel Arteta? And I would actually say that the one player that I think has improved, whether it's Mikel Arteta or his coaching team, or whether it's the player on his own, would be Nicola Pepe.
Mm-hmm.
He has now become, a goal threat.
Yeah,
he's a genuine goal threat from off of the wing.
So much so we're pinning a lot of our hopes on him primarily this coming season.
I think we have to though. Right, we have to find those players that are trending upwards. He's definitely doing that. I mean, we're expecting the same from Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe, right? We're expecting them to improve. Expecting Gabriel when he gets back to improve from where he was last season.
This is his third season now with us, right, Nicola Pepe?
Yes.
Yep.
So I mean, there's no more talk about fucking settling in.
He's got to know London. He's got to have a Cockney accent.
Yeah. All right, Governor.
All right, Governor. A little bit like Hector. You know what I mean? We do this on my laugh.
Yeah, he's one of the boys now. He's actually, he should be considered as one of the senior heads in the team.
Man. Yeah, he's 25 years old. He's probably one of the senior. He's probably in the top 30% of the age groups out there.
This should be. You would think that this would be a big season for him to really kick on.
I want to see some tenacity in him. I know that's not his makeup. He doesn't. You want to see some fight, but it's there, right? It's there.
He just has to be played.
Yes,
to me, I think he can get 15 goals and 15 assists.
We cannot see Willian again for 14 games. Cannot happen. Sorry. Isambo said, question when Nketiah injured, do you think Balogun will be loaned out or he'll get limited first team football? We actually touched on this earlier in the podcast. I actually think the way the transfer market's going, there's not a lot happening out there. We will be forced to keep Balogun and give him limited first team football. Disagree, Tony?
Yeah, I disagree. I think Balogun needs loaned out. And Nketiah has actually looked pretty good in the preseason. I would still sell him, but I'd already take the Willock money, then the Celtic, brought back Edward. I'd definitely go get Edward. We can have him for the money we sold Willock for. Then sell Eddie, loan out.
Look.
Balogun.
The Assemble is saying basically we've got a lot of draws still in our squad. Actually, the Assemble, you want me to say verbatim? You told me that before. I remember that now. So Nketiah, Willian, Xhaka, and possibly Bellerin will still be in the first team squad. If that's improving the squad, I'm lost for words. And I I'm not making excuses, but the excuse will be there. There's not a lot happening in the transfer market. It is up to Mikel Arteta to make these players, to maximize the best of these players that you can.
Keep
And
them on the bench.
we're going to have them, exactly, keep them on the bench, play some cup games. You can play 15 players for the majority of the season. West Ham did it last season, and look
It,
where they got.
it's our own fault for pricing these players out of the market. Nobody wants to pay Saeed Kolasinac 120,000 pounds a week, whatever it is. He's getting one of those two. Nobody wants to pay him that,
No.
right? So, he's got time left on his contract. As I understand it, he's had a chat with Arsenal and said, like, buy out my contract. If you don't want me here, buy out my contract, But what that would mean is that he would part company with Arsenal, but Arsenal would still have to give him the remainder of his contract, which would be around about £5 million, which he's entitled to. But the other flip side of it is if Arsenal say, well, no, we don't want to do that, now you've got a player that's actually come to you. If a player comes to you and says, buy my contract out, there's no fucking inkling that he wants to be at your club anymore, right?
No.
He either doesn't feel welcome anymore and he wants to get out. However, he doesn't want to forfeit any of the money that's coming to him. So for me, you'd have to try and work something out.
Cash
Maybe a
money.
free transfer.
You have to work something out, right? Do you know what I mean? You pay him in installments, whatever, while you're trying to find him a club. But I just don't see how you'd want to keep somebody around who's in that frame of mind. And it's Arsenal's fault because you've got to look at it from side Kolasinac. He's seen it happen now with a number of his teammates.
Yep.
5 players last year.
So he's thinking, well, fuck it. If they got it, what's so different about me? Why can't I have that?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Can you guys remember a worse signing than Willian when you factor everything in? There was the Korean player that never actually played for us, but not very many, Scott, not very many.
I can think of one.
Kallstrom.
Yeah, go for it.
Mesut Ozil.
Ooh, controversial.
Kim
I
Kallstrom.
thought those days were over, Stan.
The question was asked, right? So I answered.
Would you take Neto as backup? Yeah, I think I would. It's a backup goalkeeper. Gary, give me something on your wish list. Your biggest hope that you want to see something positive.
Positive, similar to Stan. I just kind of want to see some improvement for me from Saka as far as shooting boots. I mean, if it's just one player, I'm going to pick Saka. That's kind of what I want to see. I mean, I'm not expecting to see him much in this first month or the rest of this month, but going forward, I kind of want to see. I think that's what he needs to do to improve his skill set. Same thing with Emil Rowe. I mean, we saw that in the preseason, right? It had a nice score coming off that left side. So, yeah, expecting him to be more of an offensive threat because we're going to need it, right? Looking to score a lot more, will put a lot of pressure on the defense.
We have a great chat here so far, so we're going to round up a little bit of the wish list. Tony and myself to go. Tony, you want to get in your wish list next? What do you want to see next season?
Yeah, the main thing I want to see is just the culture shift. We're getting all these 23 to 25-year-old players. Hopefully they can change the weak mentality we've had the last 5 or 6 years. Go out there and play hard like Gabriel did last season, play for the badge. And the other wish list is just seeing Arteta not being so damn set in his ways. Last year he forced the lineup, a formation that he didn't have the players for. He knew it worked, but he didn't go with it. He's bullheaded. Hopefully we see him to say, hey, here's our best 11. We're going to play this way. I might want to play this other way, but it doesn't work. Just go with the best players.
Yeah, listen, I definitely going to echo what you're saying, Tony. Scott said Park. Remember Park? Legend has it he's still at the club waiting for his chance. He's an usher in the stadium right now. He's going to be showing the crowds back to their seats. Yeah, listen, we're talking about Pepe being one of the senior players in the team now, 25 years old, coming into his prime. This club is getting restructured. It's going to take a little while yet partly because of the circumstances of the transfer window, and we've had a lot of mismanagement in the last 5 to 10 years. But I want Mikel Arteta to learn the mistakes from last season. Somebody said somewhere he's got to realize what we're seeing. Mikel Arteta's got to realize the same things that we have seen, but he just hasn't. He hasn't implemented them. He's got to realize what he's doing wrong with the team. And
I'm sure he does. He's just so stubborn. He's like, this is the way I want to play.
We can see the
Set on
future.
it.
We can see the future's bright, Tony, but Arteta may not be around to reap the benefits of it. You know.
Yeah, he could, like I said, he could be gone after the first 6-7 games. Wouldn't surprise me at all if he gets sacked.
So like Mohamed El Neni, and like I don't know who's another constant standard player, Ben White maybe, or Gabriel. I want 7 out of 10s from Arsenal every week, and consistency will bring points.
There's nothing. Can I just say, there's nothing that would please me more than Mikel Arteta was able to somehow turn this around. I want him to succeed. I really do. Mm-hmm. And I've said this. I've said this quite a lot of times. I don't want us to go for a revolving door of managers. I saw what happened at Man United after Sir Alex Ferguson, and it's been a fucking disaster.
Yep.
After manager, do you know what I mean? I think they were still paying David Moyes off 3 seasons after they got rid of him. To pay him off because it's such a contract. I don't want to see Arsenal going to that situation where, you know, a manager comes in, what little money we have, they bring players in, it don't work out. The next guy comes in, he takes a look at the squad, he's like, no, I don't fancy half of these. Starts trying to rip it up again. As he's in the middle of it, the fucking results are bad. He has to go. And it just goes round and round and round. And you're constantly in this kind of like state of flux where you don't have anything concrete. But on the other hand, I look at what Mikel Arteta is doing, and I can't remember who you put it up earlier, and they were talking about, you know, some of the players that are going to be turning out tomorrow, like Bellerin, Xhaka, you know, Willian. Yeah, Bellerin and that. And
you can put 9 players on the bench now. 9.
That's not a rebuild, man. You've been sold a fucking rebuild. That's what we've been sold. That's what it says at the bottom of the receipt. And that's not a rebuild. What you're doing is, by getting an Odegaard, do you know what I mean, and a Ben White, you're just building on the same shaky foundations. It's those players that are still there. That's the fucking problem. That's where your actual problem is. Did you know what I mean? You didn't really have to go and buy Ben White. You could have maybe say, let's take a look at that 27 that we spent on Saliba and see whether that would work. Let's try it out. But what you've done is,
I've been waiting 2 seasons to see him.
But what you've done is, you thought to yourself, well, you know, I'll still keep hold of the Xhakas and the Bellerins and, you know, and these kind of players, which really these players need to be freshened up and they need to find a career somewhere else. Why we never took the money that was offered from Roma? And I'll tell you why. It's lazy and convenient. If Arsenal had taken the money on offer from Roma, it would have forced Arsenal to have made the move. It would have forced Arsenal to do something to bring someone in. And Arsenal aren't very confident about doing that, it seems to me.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why. He's got 2 years left on his contract. What was the race? What was the rush to give him his contract before the window shuts?
And he's already on 110,000 a week.
Because it's lazy and it's convenient to keep him. And it's that kind of attitude of convenience about players which really is our problem. You know what I mean? It was convenient to keep Dani Ceballos for that second season. You never have kept him for the second season. We saw what he could do. And that was it. He couldn't do very much. He had that game against Burnley and a couple of other moments. But keeping him for that other season, for me, what we did there is we kept somebody out of a place. There was somebody else that could have had his place. Maybe somebody from our younger, maybe Willock could have had that place. Maybe we could have squeezed out of Willock what he'd done at Newcastle instead of having to watch Dani Ceballos stink it up every week. It's lazy and it's convenient. And until that kind of mindset goes away, then we're going to be stuck in this cycle like a hamster running around on a wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and like you were saying, for me, everybody said the project, and some people said the project actually is Arteta, right? No, the project that Arsenal has is when we talk about the rebuild. Some people are thinking it's the entire team, and in some cases, it's actually the project actually is Arteta. They need to build a We want to see a world class manager, coach, managing for Arsenal, right? Right now, they gave us a lump of clay, and they're trying to mold it into a world class manager,
I've
but they're not giving them anything to build with. So we're seeing we're seeing some bad decisions being made, and it's you got to. I always say it takes money to make money. So sometimes you got to throw money at the problem,
mhm.
right? Arteta needs some money thrown at, and it doesn't actually. It might be for me. It's
Yeah,
cheaper not to
spend it
throw it.
right as well.
Yeah, but for me, sometimes it's not all that you just give it all. It's just the players because the players are pretty expensive. But you need to build an infrastructure around him also to be world class too, right?
Yeah.
Outside, where is this world class management structure at Arsenal? Which one of the people that is managing the team are we looking at going? Teams are going to be coming in for him,
We
trying to take him away, right? The same way we want, nobody right now is looking at Adu, Garlic, Arteta, going, you know what? These are people in
Yeah, we
football
need some of
management and
that. We need
coaching
some of
that,
that.
yeah, exactly. I want that player, right? Like, so one, they're not going to leave because they got it cushy, right? But that's also the problem there. It's just that we are a work in progress, and we're building the plane as it's taken off. It's taken off, and we're still building it. All right, and we're wondering why we're not getting off the ground.
Well, listen, we're having a great flight here. We're due to land shortly, in about
The
half
wall's
an
down.
hour.
Is the undercarriage down?
About half an hour. Not yet. Not yet. We're
Okay.
going to land at gate 13 because it's going to be the
Okay.
13th of August, and it's
So we've
going to
still got
be.
time. We've still got time to bring the duty freeze round then.
We're on flight number 1 because we are top of the league. We are top of the league. I'm going to kill that one till we're not top of the league anymore. Okay. Want to get on to something I thought we had some fun with, some crack with last season. Shock choices, upset picks. Um, I won that last year. Um,
Rain Man and his secret math.
listen, you'll be able to ratify and verify everything, but we pretty much previewed Brentford Arsenal ad hoc. I wanted to come to Stan next because the next game, and we're going to talk about next game is Man United versus Leeds, Stan. And you mentioned Man United and where they were in the wilderness. Have they returned? Could you say that Manchester United's fully back since Alec Ferguson? They haven't won a trophy yet under Ole.
Spend plenty of money. Let's have it right. Whether they're bank loans or what, they're not shy about spending. They've just brought in Sancho and Rafael Varane, and you've got to think that 2 players like that coming into your squad does strengthen you. So no matter how close you might think that we are to the one team, when I go out and make signings like that, the gap just gets a little bit bigger again.
But they're not Premiership proven. They might not hit the ground running. Things that Arsenal fans would say.
Yeah, they've got time to bed in. Do you know what I mean? They need that time to bed in. You know what I mean?
They've never played football before, so if you tell them to do something, they're like, "Wait, it's so different where I came from." You guys actually play with a ball.
Sancho's got to learn to speak English again and forget speaking German because he only speaks German now.
Yeah.
But I think that again. I think one of United's biggest problems is the manager. And again, they've done a little bit what we've done is that they've got a manager that's a bit of work in progress, albeit he was a little bit further ahead than Mikel Arteta because he's managed before, right? He managed Cardiff, he managed Mulder.
Yeah.
And it's still work in progress there. And I can start to see improvements. And I think he's lucky. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was lucky to have not have got fired like a season and a half ago.
Bruno in the door, right?
Yeah. And I think it's a similar thing. And where is the game? Is it at Leeds or Man U?
No, it's at Man United.
Oh,
Man
United.
It is. What is it? A Lancashire derby? The Roses.
I think
early kickoff.
I think Man United win. I don't see any upsets there.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. We're going to see if Leeds take that step forward again, Gary. Leeds were an exciting team last season. Will they progress under Bielsa?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that is the big question. I mean, I expect them to, right? We're expecting everybody, any team with a good manager, to get it to improve from one season to the next, right? They've got young players there that are, up and coming, right? We saw it in Euros, right? From some of them. So I'm gonna go on and I'm gonna go. I guess I'm gonna go crazy here. So yeah, this will be my upset pick. So Leeds is gonna get at least a point out of this
Ooh,
one. So
okay.
I mean, it's really tough in the first week how things are going to play out.
Yep.
But the same. This one of the reasons, as Stan was saying, you've got the manager, and you got to take that into take that as one of the parameters as to whether or not you're going to, will they not be ready because they're still, figuring out how to work with the players that they've got. Are they actually going to be all playing? I mean, a lot of United players actually played in Euros. Will they come out and play? I don't know. Where they
Mm.
get rest or where they be a little worn down, and whatnot. So yeah, I'm gonna go
Yeah,
with Leeds with a surprise because of that. But it's tough for any of these matches in this first match because some of them look like blatant. There's no way this team's gonna have a chance. This one looks closer to me because Leeds Leeds isn't a new team coming into the league. They do have some quality players there. Some of those players did not. Some play like I think Banford didn't play, so he's ready to go. And Leeds gives you those. They're a Jekyll and Hyde team, right? You never know which one you're going to get. So why not? We've seen
Yeah.
surprises the first weekend, so maybe this will
Yeah.
be one.
And listen,
another season of Man United fucking holding Donny van der Beek hostage. Free Donny.
free Donny. He is the nephew of Dennis Bergkamp, the Iceman. Not the nephew,
Son-in-law.
Son-in-law.
Yeah.
But almost same thing, right?
I'm going to say, do they do all of that out there in Holland? All that, intermingling?
Who knows? Who knows? And listen, Stan, if you want to get involved in picking an upset every week, let us know. Or if you want to just stay on the sideline and not play along, it's fine as well.
Fucking the latest upset is my missus because I haven't put the shelves up yet.
All right. Well, this takes 5 minutes to pick an upset. That's all I'm saying. Tony, Man United versus Leeds.
I think it's going to be a draw.
Yeah, I actually think it's going to be a draw as well. I'll go 1-1 in that game. Gary's gone for Leeds to be the upset. Pick up 7 cool points at Old Trafford.
Or 3.5, right?
Or 3.5. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a draw is good. You get nothing in this game for 2 in a bed. That's what they say, right? Bullseye. Stan, Leicester City versus Wolves.
Leicester City.
Yeah.
Win.
I think so too. Do you think Leicester City are primed to stay in position that they are in the stature that they're at right now?
I think it's more about Wolves have been under Nuno for so long now, and now that's gone. They're going, I'm not even sure who their new manager is. They've probably got one, right? I can't even remember who's been announced, right, as the Wolves' new manager. But
yeah, I'm not up on it.
There's going to be new styles of play brought in, and I think that losing Nuno is going to take them time to adjust from.
Yeah.
Whereas Leicester seem to be, it's almost they're still flying. They look to be still flying. So yeah, I'm going to go with a Leicester win.
Yeah, Leicester carrying the. They should go into the league pretty strong, carrying the good feeling from the FA Cup and the Community Shield. Whether it's a trophy or not, they're saying it is. Riddy said 2-0 to United. Gary, Leicester, Wolves looks pretty cut and dry, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll find out if preseason means anything, right? Because Patson Daka, he scored in the preseason, right? So they've got some offensive talent there.
They're moving.
So,
Patson Daka.
but I think Leicester City's got too much, and like you said, once again, they're not necessarily in turmoil, but they're starting over again with a new manager, so probably new concepts and all of that stuff that comes with it. So, yeah, that one I believe should be an easy one for Leicester City to be able in their home. So
and if you think that Vardy's slowing down, Patson Daka I think will take up the slack there along with Harvey Barnes. It's just said if the Community Shield is a trophy, Arteta has 2 of them.
yeah. to play in that match, you got to get one, right? So
Yeah, I think because he took the reins for a city community shield. I think that's what he's saying. Tony, Leicester versus Wolves.
Wolves. That's my upset pick.
Whoa,
Well,
he's shooting for the stars on this one.
Jesus.
So it's a good one.
Why?
Yeah, why? Just because.
I think Leicester's a drop off a little bit this year, and I think Wolves players will go out and try to support their new manager. Plus, I'm going to try to get 8 points.
You mean like they might have any manager bounce?
Riddy said 1-0 to Leicester. And you know what? I think the Wolverhampton Wanderers. Sorry, Stan, what was that you said?
I just say, what you reckon they might have that new manager bounce thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a Portuguese manager because they've been a feeder club or they've been.
It'll have to be, right? Otherwise, the manager won't be able to communicate with half of his squad.
True. Matish said Jimenez will be back. So, yeah, we do wish Jimenez to have a good season. Don't score against us, though. Not the Arsenal. Yeah, good that he's recovered from his head injury. The Istanbul said, I've come to the conclusion that as much as Arteta's blamed for his short-sighted vision, the rest of his team, board coaches, etc., are extremely weak. The team is a reflection of the state of the club. And we're hoping that the players can overcome that. We've seen it with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. All he's got to do is pick the team correctly. The players go out and do the business.
What they say, you just take the handbrake off and let them go,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so why can't Arteta do the same thing? Pick the right team and take it from there. Stan, Chelsea versus Palace. I'll be looking at this one because of Vieira. I think Palace are going to be my second team this season.
Yeah, I think, well, the results-wise, I think Chelsea would just,
Win.
Yeah, they're not going to, I don't think Palace will get a look in.
Yeah.
And like a little bit like yourself, I said earlier that I was looking forward to seeing Brentford this season because of this Ivan Toney, but I'm also going to be keeping an eye on Crystal Palace as well. So that'd be quite interesting to see how Big Paddy gets on up there as the manager, see if he can raise their fortunes.
I think he's positioned himself perfectly in London, just in case he gets a phone call. You know what I mean?
Just in case Tony was right last week with his bold.
Sometime about November, he might get a phone call. You know,
you can even get a night bus from Crystal Palace up to the Emirates. So he's sorted. It doesn't matter what time of day, he won't be stuck to get up there.
I can be there in 20 minutes.
Yeah,
I'll help Arteta into the car, into the cab. So, yeah, as Gunnar Glenn said, baptism of fire, Gary, for Vieira. It will be a good test as well, and similar for Arsenal and Arteta. We can get some of these difficult games out of the way, and so can Patrick Vieira get a difficult game out of the way. You don't have to play Chelsea again till later in the season then.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a rough start to the season, but once they get healthy, they'll hopefully, things will get better for them, right? Eze is how you say his name. I don't think he's started.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be ready to go to start the season. So that's one of their bright lights on the team in the middle there, I believe. So, yeah, this one should be – Chelsea should be able to win this one. And that's even with Werner missing, sitters. So,
yeah, they shall overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I think towards the end of the window as well, we're gonna see how the season settles in, and we'll do our prediction podcast in early September. There'll be an interlull. That's perfect. We'll be able to do it then. Darren, check out Darren on Twitter. Forgotten his Twitter handle. If anyone knows, just shout it out at Dazerboy channel. There you go. Please check it out. He's doing a skydive. He's going to take himself out of his what do you call it? Out of your comfort zone, right? And do something for charity. So that's well worth checking out as well.
Fair play to you, Darren, but you got to be fucking slightly balmy to jump out of an aeroplane with a rucksack on your back. Better man than me, braver man than me. There is no way I could. No way.
Yeah. I don't think I'm feeling that.
Today on I don't know if any of you guys were on it. I know Stan was, about the Guna versus Cancer.
Yeah.
You know, when he told us about jumping out of a plane, they're like, "You're gonna have a parachute, right?" You know.
No, it's just a big net. It's a big net to catch him.
I've seen the guy do it. There's a guy that did it with no parachute. Just landed on a big net in the middle of the desert.
Wow.
It's possible.
Yeah, you got to control where you're. I don't know what area was he hitting? A small target.
Yeah, there was a target he had to hit. Yeah. Or
How
else,
big are your balls to jump out of a plane with no parachute?
I've
Bigger
gone
than the target.
up from the ground up, you know, from the back of a boat, running on a beach, you know, parascending where you go, but you start on the ground and you gradually go up. It's that initial. Right, I've got to step out of the door of the plane now. It's that bit.
Oh yeah.
When the door opens,
Let's
Give
go
you a
back.
good
right?
kick in the ass, Daniel. Get out of there.
No going back. Norma said Norma has a shock relegation team. Southampton will be relegated or in the relegation battle. Sold their two best players, Ings and Vestergaard. So, good shout, Norma.
Very good shout.
Yeah, I didn't. You know, if you think, if we had lost, for example, we had lost Aubameyang after his 20 goal season, we would be going, "Ooh, where are we gonna get those 20 goals from?" Similar thing for them, right? So, yeah, that's gonna be a tough one to recover from. And I think they lost Bertrand as well, right? So another one of their players on the defensive side.
Latish is asking who do we think would get sacked first, Arteta or Vieira? I think Vieira is pretty safe there. He's got a smaller task. He's got to be better than 14th.
Arteta's odds-on favorite to get sacked first out of anybody. So.
I thought he was like the eighth best.
Nope, he's top.
Okay. Tony, Chelsea versus Palace. What do you think? At Selhurst. It's not at Selhurst.
Not at Selhurst Park.
Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, I think it'd be a closer game, but Chelsea 2-1.
Yeah. Okay. Stan, Watford versus Aston Villa. Watford have come up. Aston Villa have retooled. They spent all that Grealish money.
Yeah, I think. Where is it at?
It's at Watford.
Draw
there.
Yeah.
Kerry?
Who does Aston? Didn't Aston?
Tell us what you're thinking. We can help you.
I mean, I had Aston Villa here winning, at least winning the swing, or So, I think Aston Villa. Yeah.
Yeah. They've basically bought 3 players for the Grealish money, and there's no guarantee Grealish is going to be injury free for the whole season.
Yeah.
But Manchester City can absorb that. They've got plenty of players that could play.
And they've got a good goalkeeper too, right? Right. I think. I don't know if you guys heard his name or seen him play. He's got like an FA Cup, and now he's got like a Copa America, a Gold Cup as well. You know, under his name. So he's just
well documented what I think about that. I mean, we got plenty of time as the season goes on to talk about Bern Leno and our goalkeeping situation. Natish said Norma Seguencia, if Busima would have left Brighton, then mine would have been them. White and Busima gone. Yeah, Brighton. But Natish, we would have given them Eddie Nketiah, and he would have saved them from relegation. Yeah, Lee was there when Mike said that. LOL. Yeah, Gunners versus Cancer was a great cause, and big up Mike for organizing it, and it's a big task, Yeah. Big task. The assemble said Cronkies don't want anything connected to Highbury to come to the Emirates, as they've managed to kill any chance of success, and don't want the fan base to remember Arsenal had ambition once upon a time. Watford, Aston Villa. You went for a draw, Gary, or not?
No, Aston Villa will win this.
Aston Villa
I think Ings and
yeah.
I think they've got more than enough to overcome Watford.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I think
welcome
Aston
to the
Villa
Premier League. I think is what's going to happen there.
I think Buendia's injured, though, isn't he?
Is Buendia injured? Yeah. I think.
Very good games to start off. Once we're top of the league, we'll be watching closely for the rest of the games. I'm tongue in cheek. The season, you can't look at the table until like the third or fourth game, in my opinion.
I I don't think
Tony.
I want to look at that. It could be really bad for Arsenal. Maybe you should push it out a little bit more.
Maybe I'll ask all of you who your surprise team would be. There's always a team that jumps out in front, so think about that. Tony,
The
Aston Villa,
villains.
Watford, the villains. All right, 2-1 to Gunnar for Gunnar Land. Everton versus Southampton. Stan.
Say who?
Everton versus Southampton. Norma has said Southampton will get relegated. Good shout.
Well, I think Southampton are going to struggle.
Mm-hmm.
They've been struggling, right? And then they've just really severely weakened themselves. So, yeah, they're not. That's a Southampton loss, I think, straight off.
Arteta is fourth choice to get the sack. Munoz is the new Wolves manager, being the favorite. Wolves could struggle as well. Yeah, Hassan Hoodle is going to have. He's going to be crying on the sideline. He's going to be crying, I think. Gary,
Yeah.
are Everton better than last season? Will they be better than last season? Under Rafa.
I guess the trick. I mean, like anything else, if they can stay healthy, and that was the, you start. They lost basically their front line, right? Calvert Lewis was out, and Richarlison both had out of games, and I think as soon as that happened, then you saw like the dip, right? They don't have anybody to back up those players. I don't know if I think they may have improved a little bit, but not enough. They'll be better than Southampton. So yeah, Everton will win that one. They're home as well, so.
I think Rafa's a very, very decent manager. We're going to see the effect of a very good manager. I think Everton is as poorly run as Arsenal has been, and I think we're going to see what a good manager can do to a team. And Rafa will be watching that one because I think Rafa is a great manager, and he'd probably turn things around.
Yeah,
they could be easily in the seventh. I think Everton could be seventh. I'll go as far as say that. And Brownie, we could have that bet again. I think he'll probably win this time around. Tony, Everton, Southampton. Everton wins, right?
Yep.
Brownie
Brownie still need to send you that money.
Yeah, he owed me 500, Brownie.
Is it 500? Is it 500 Brownie crypto coins? Is that what you're gonna get?
Yeah, man. He's gonna have to start cashing them crypto coins in, isn't he? Right? The power for his fucking debts, man.
Oh God. Burnley Brighton, a great one. You gotta stay up for this one on Saturday, Stan. Burnley Brighton. 17.
Where is it at?
It's at Turf Moor.
Well, they're going to be without Ben White, aren't they? Brighton.
Yeah. So Sean Dyche, early for an impersonation.
Sean Dyche, I haven't done a Sean Dyche in ages, but VAR. I like VAR. VAR's quite good. There's nothing wrong with VAR. So yeah, I think Sean. Burnley. I think Burnley are going to win. Yeah,
I agree with you. I think Burnley will win that game. Gary.
Yeah, I think this one's one of those where they go pick them in terms of.
Reddy's got his 0-0. Don't watch the game. Unless you really want to buy Basuma.
Can I revise that? Because I think Riddy's got something now. I would say it's going to be a draw of some kind. It won't be a Burnley win. It will be a draw.
1-1. Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know what the score will be, but it'll be a draw.
That's I was gonna go Burnley, but yeah, I think a draw. Yeah.
Okay. I'll go with Burnley. Brighton. Yeah, I'll go with Burnley. Home team is going to be difficult for Brighton there. They don't have anything up front too much. They don't have a lot up front. Tony, I'm going to wind this up in the next 5 or 6 minutes here.
As I always say on these ones, who gives a fuck? I think Burnley wins.
I do, because I'm asking you. I care. I care about Burnley.
Play the game.
I don't want to see Sean.
Nobody's picking this as their upset pick.
No.
You get no points for it.
Sean Dyche sad. I do not want to see Sean Dyche sad. Stan, Norwich versus Liverpool. This was
my
like
upset. This is
opening.
my upset. Norwich. No, I mean, I think Norwich could be a team that goes down. Norwich are going to be really struggling, I think, to stay in the Premier League.
They always go down. Once they go up, they go down.
Yeah, they're like,
yeah, straight
they
back
are
down.
the yo-yo team. So I don't have to think of anything other than a Liverpool win.
They were champions. They won it at a canter. Okay, I do hope that they stay up, but you got to feel bad for them as fans if they keep going up and down. You know what I mean? Gary, Norwich versus Liverpool. I think Liverpool will win that game.
Yeah, I think this will be a. Oof. Well, they're playing at home too. Yeah,
Norwich at home could be
Yeah.
difficult for Liverpool.
yeah. Opening game.
Mhm.
You know,
Starting to feel it.
yeah, it's over for the. It's gonna have to take the loss. That's okay. They're gonna get a lot of those this season anyway. So this isn't one of the games that they. This is one of those games you look at and go, all right, I think we might be able to get a win out of this one. So
Mhm.
this they'll take a big loss. That's
Well,
gonna
look at Norma. Look at Norma's prediction, man. Norma's
wow.
going
This
straight in, man.
Wow, she's looking for a surprise. I mean,
This,
I think Liverpool's just too
Fine.
deep. Even if they went to some of
two
their
goals.
backups, I think there'll still be enough. They have enough quality there to actually get something out of the match.
Gary, I suppose the biggest question for Liverpool is will Virgil van Dijk return to his majestic best after that injury? It's going to be tough for him, I think.
For his best, I don't think they need it for this game, anyways.
No,
Right?
for the season.
So, yeah, and what is it?
The
Did he have
season relies on
did he
him a
have a
lot.
torn ACL? Is that what he had?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had that, and I mean, he can come back. It's all about what he's done in the off season, but that's a tough one to come back. They say it takes a whole season and a whole year just to get back, comfortable on that leg. But yeah, no, I think it'll come back. I don't think we might not see the player we're expecting to see until the second half of the season, though. So.
And this will be the late game on the Saturday, So maybe Liverpool don't come to the party and they don't match the intensity.
They got more than enough players.
While I'm going to go out on the limb, but this is not my upset pick. But I do think Norwich will beat them. I'm going for a more conservative game. I think Norwich might beat Liverpool.
This is like the biggest upset pick you can go with, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
And you're thinking they're going to lose, and you're not going to take it?
I'm not going to take it. Tony, Norwich versus Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Yeah. Okay, Tony, I'll start off. This is my upset pick. Newcastle against West Ham. I think West Ham will lose up at Tyneside. So I'm picking that as my upset pick. Joe Willock will probably start. We'll see if he continue his goal scoring feats. Tony, Newcastle, West Ham.
I think it's a be a draw.
Okay. Stan, Newcastle, West Ham.
Are there any more games left?
There's one more after that. It's the
What is it?
Spurs and City.
Scum versus the City.
This game then is going to be my upset as well. I think Newcastle will do West Ham.
Okay.
Joe Willock hat trick.
All right.
Yeah, we know we have to make that sell worse for Arsenal, right? It's the only way this thing works, and that's how it's been scripted. Football guys already scripted this one.
One of his goals, right? He'll run into the box, and then one of his teammates will run up to him, blindfold him, turn his back to goal, and he'll back heel it in past the keeper. And everyone will be like, "Fucking hell."
Sambo said, "Don't take the mickey out of Sean Dyche. He could be our new manager. He's experienced in the Premier League and always finishes above the relegation zone."
Wow.
Newcastle.
I hope that's not our goals for the season. Is finished above the relegation zone.
2-1 for the Toon. Yeah, I know that's not our goal. Tony Turner looks nicely blazed on a good trip tonight.
He's always on a fucking good trip. He's got all that fucking medicinal stuff getting fucking, and there's all that medical stuff they're like poking under his fucking doormat. Lucky man.
Tony's perfectly sober though.
Stan. Tony blazes up later, right, Tony?
Yeah, about 10 o'clock.
And it just disappears. It never stays in the system at all, right? It's gone.
Man City
It
5,
just comes out in all the gifts I send out in the group chat.
Got it.
Spurs
That
nil.
makes sense.
Carried fucking more bait than fucking Hovis, mate.
Stan, what do you make of that last game there? City, Tottenham. Could be
Tottenham.
at the toilet bowl, as we like to call it.
Nuno's debut at the toilet bowl.
See, I just think that I really think that Nuno and Tottenham's not a good match. Football-wise, style-wise, what the fans would, and it's not like he was their first. He was basically the last guy in the queue, right? They were like, there is nobody else. You know what I mean? We're choosing now. We're at the stage where we're choosing between Nuno and my nan. That was like where they were at. Do you know what I mean? And
It was
apparently,
like the 10th one through return style.
apparently they just couldn't come to terms with my nan's personal terms, so that's why they went for Nuno in the end. And I just think it's a bad match. And if you're Nuno, you're kind of thinking to yourself like, this has all happened. This has all escalated quickly. What am I even doing here? No, you know,
He looks like a manager who does talk to himself on the sideline.
Yeah, I just think they're gonna really. I mean, is Harry Kane going to be turning out for him? Has he gone back to training?
I would think not. I would think not.
Yeah, the bollocks then, aren't they? The bollocks stuff, you know. And one can only
He was in
hope.
quarantine, supposedly.
What, quarantine? He's only going to Manchester. Fucking hell.
It's the North.
That's what Nuno said.
It's the North. Good point. It is the North. Do you know what I mean? There is a good point. Yeah, he's going beyond the wall.
the what do you call them? The roughly
The Night's Watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is. I think City. I mean, City had a good pre-season as well. Again, it's only pre-season, but you know, everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, and nothing would please me more than for Tottenham to start their first game falling on their faces. At least we won't be alone then when we fall on ours, right?
Hey, we're going to be top of the league. We're going to win 5-0.
You're supposed to be positive, Stan. Stan's positive. Positive thoughts.
Positive vibes. Taib, thanks for joining us, Taib. We're about rounding up here. Gary.
Taib, we're finishing, mate. Oh, yeah. Taib, just pull back the red bar to the beginning. Just start watching it from the beginning now.
It was a good one. It was a good one. So definitely watch it back. Gary, the Scum versus the City.
A couple of things I think might happen. Does Harry Kane actually come out with his blue shirt on? Or does he just like go into the wrong locker room at halftime and then comes out with the blue shirt? Which one is it?
Rudy's nailed it with his comment below that one. He's nailed it. That is the question.
Harry King gets 2 hat tricks in the same match from 2 different teams.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, he's going to play
a deal at half time. He starts with Tottenham. At half time, they get the deal done. He turns out for Man City in the second half.
Exactly my thoughts.
This match, Harry King will have won and lost this match, you know, and then the stadium will just blow up and then boom, gone. Everybody's happy, right? This is one of those matches. This is one of those matches where you hope both teams lose, right? But only one's going to lose, so it's going to be City running away with this one. I mean, does Harry Kane actually play? Does he actually play?
No, I don't think he will.
Yeah, so if he's not playing, then it's going to be even worse, right?
Moot point.
Right. Yep. So if he's not playing, it's going to be even worse because the second 11 for City can compete with Harry Kane and Son and all of them, right? Mm-hmm. So
Tony. Sorry, Gary.
Tony, come back to us, Tony. Over here, Tony. You're over here.
I'm gonna pick City. I was looking at all the redacted messages assembled as. He has to work for the CIA because he's always just redacting.
Yeah, he goes back and deletes them. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. Yeah. He hasn't trained.
He doesn't want you don't want him to figure out his kind of, instead of like looking at his handwriting, there's like looking at his chats, right? So they can figure out kind of who he is. So he has to delete him before anybody can catch up and figure out who the assembled is. Yeah.
Listen, go ahead, Stan.
What he is.
I've enjoyed this chat tonight. Final thoughts, Tony.
I'm just ready for the season to get started. Nervous about us this season. Wish the window was closed. Ready to see what we do tomorrow. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Stan, final thoughts?
I just have this feeling around Arsenal that there's like an unpreparedness for the start of the season. It's almost like the pre-season should be going on for another couple of weeks more. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. I can't wait for 11 o'clock. It'll be 11 o'clock here. Kickoffs at lunchtime here when I get to see the starting lineup, because that's where it starts, right? You start to see the lineup and you're like, fuck. You start to see whether you think there's a glimmer of hope in there. So I cannot wait to see our starting lineup. Obviously, I think, as I said before, it's really important that in this first game, because of the other fixtures that we've got coming after it, we need to get 3 points away from home at Brentford, because we might not get as many points in the next few games. But if we get hammered now and we go into the next game with our heads down, it could be even worse. So it's vital that we get the 3 points tomorrow.
Yeah, as I've been talking to Gunnar Glenn today on Twitter, be positive. Let's be positive. Clean slate. I'm reminded of Fever Pitch. There's always a new season. It's somehow quite comforting that there's always a new season. You can forget about last season.
Yeah, but this one you go into scared as hell.
But why can't we be that team that just doesn't care about our league position, goes out and does our business on the field?
Well, we should be able to without any European football. That's what half our fans kept hoping for. Yep. No European football, so now it's time to go out there, finish top 4, and be back playing Tuesdays and Wednesdays in the Champions League.
And look, a lot of us wanted no European football so we could experience what this is going to be. Gary, final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the season starting tomorrow. A little fearful, but I'm looking forward to it. I want to, it's hard to just go. I'm gonna go 100% positive, right? It's hard to do that.
Yeah.
Because we've been stung a couple of times.
Does anyone have more players hurt and train in warm-ups than us?
Oh, sorry, why did you have to go there? We haven't even got. Let's not go there yet.
I don't think Thomas Partey is an injury-prone player. I mean, his last injury was a roll of the ankle. Yeah. That happens. It's just fucking unfortunate and unlucky that these things keep happening, right? The same as in the North London derby where we had to walk off the pitch and you left all that space. It's just been a little bit unfortunate with him.
And we lose a goal right there, so it looks bad. It's a meme. It's a meme for last season.
Well, I know those injuries aren't they're part of the match, but they're part of the game, right? You get rolled up on, but I guess he's gonna
all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to this the season starting. Looking forward to Arsenal playing. Wish we could have had our at least the healthy players that should have started available, so I could see them play, because I would have loved to have seen Partey play and be primed and ready to go. So I'm looking forward to laughing at the end of the weekend. All right. So hopefully we're laughing we're smiling and happy for the first game, and then we're laughing. It'll die laughing on the ground for the last game of the season, so we can at least we start and end with some Arsenal smiles. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
All right, listen. Thanks everyone for joining me. I ate the juice box. Just told me that Tottenham are better than Arsenal. Yeah, technically you're right. What was a point or something in it? Last season they were. But every season springs eternal and things can change. We'll see what happens, Tony.
Kind of one more thing. Sorry to butt in. Mum, I'm really happy that you made it out of the hospital and that you're feeling better. Love you, Mum. Speak to you soon.
I didn't know about that, Stan, but we also send best wishes for your mom as well. So definitely, yeah. And may she have many, many years of health watching you on Arsenal Fan Circle and other podcasts.
With his potty mouth.
He has to tell his mom which ones he can watch. I don't think you shouldn't watch that one, Mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I never send her any of the couple of times I've been on the Arse Brothers. I never send her a link to that. and never send the one to the Arse Brothers.
Okay, you have to send links.
That's
Yeah,
very,
you
very.
don't let it go by
I'm on there, and I'm always feeling like something dirty is happening around me. Because I barely ever curse in general, much less on a video. So I'm
Only
like,
when you're driving.
Gary's taking a cold shower. after
everybody's
he
like,
started
you
on
look a
the-
little out of place. You don't even say a bad word. Just to, you got to end every sentence with with a curse word or something like that. Just
Only when you're driving, Gary. Only when you're driving around New
driving.
Jersey.
Yeah.
Listen, thanks everyone for watching. If you watched it live and you exit the building, if you breathe oxygen, if you walk on 4 limbs or even 2, hit the like button. It doesn't hurt anything. It's absolutely free. And subscribe. I know not everyone who's watching is subscribing, but it doesn't cost anything. It's free, and you get the benefit of these 3 gentlemen's knowledge, and I press the buttons and make things happen. So that's how it works. So listen, yeah, tomorrow it starts. Tomorrow it counts, and we'll see what happens. I actually think this next month will be difficult. We play 3 games in the next 2 weeks. So listen, thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you on the next one. Be careful out there, be safe, and enjoy the game. And let's get that win, Arsenal. Come on, you